Satan, and they go, oh, that's spiritual. They just back away. Oh, that's spiritual.
Yeah.
But except the problem is the exact same word in the original language is used for both terms. There's no such thing as two seeds, one spiritual, one, you know?
It's all referring to offspring.
Offspring, yeah.
Yeah, because I did a lot of study on that, and I have, people written me up and down that just refuse to believe that there was a satanic seed line on there, that there's one now. But the thing is, when you really start to open your eyes to the truth of what's going on, everything starts to make sense.
Mm.
You're no longer in a darkness of just stumbling through things and believing things blindly because you're told what to believe by your churches.
Oh,
everything starts to make sense.
Well, there's only two seed lines. There is God's seed and the seed of the Nephilim. I believe Cain was the first Nephilim.
Yeah.
And
well, you know what? They were very tall. They were as tall as Anax. In the Bible codes, they come up as there's one term that you'll find with the Hebrews they use in describing these Anax and the Nephilim as tall boys.
Uh-huh.
And Cain and Abel come up as tall boys.
Hmm.
So it's very interesting that Adam and Eve and them were these short Middle Eastern people.
Well, we have no idea what Adam and Eve looked like, even.
Yeah, but Adam and Cain and Abel were very tall.
I know. Well, what I'm saying is we may not even remotely resemble what Adam and Eve looked like.
Oh, I know. We have no idea.
We have no idea, but that seed line goes all the way down, and if you get into the root of the occult and Satanism, they always refer back to Cain.
Yep, the sons of Cain. They call themselves the sons of Cain.
Yeah, and they always say it will go back all the way to the garden. So it says there would be hatred between the two seed lines, and the thing is, one is human, one isn't. Nephilim are hybrids. They're not
the wheat and the tares.
And this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people out there that are not human beings. The shell is basically looks human, but the spirit within is not human at all.
Yeah, they're Satan's.
And some of them are what is known in the occult as self-aware. They know who they are. They know where they were before as fallen spirits. And I have an article on what is it? This is the Columbine with Kleborg and what's the other fellow's name?
Yeah.
They're just ranting in their basement videos, and they say, we are self-aware. We are so above you humans.
Well, the one's father was a Satanist who was an FBI agent. I heard his line goes, he's got this whole thing. The one going that moved from New York had spent time on a military base in New York in their mind control program.
Let's see.
Yeah. And so surprised he shows up in Colorado shooting people.
Oh,
he wasn't at a setup like the one that was sent in to kill John Lennon. These kids, these people are used as pawns. They're chip implanted. They're put in these military programs, then they're brought out and used as pawns.
Yeah.
Because the one's father was the FBI agent. He goes back into the Illuminati lines.
Hey.
And you'll never hear much about it. It's all kind of hidden.
No.
I was watching that one series. They sold their souls for rock and roll, and he went into the Columbine kids. It was really good.
Oh, I gotta get that.
Yeah, he was mostly talking about their aspect of music, but he also talks about some, about the boys themselves. Yeah, it was like a five DVD series somebody had sent me in the mail, and I was watching it, and it was great. You know who it was? Is Jody Watley. I don't know if you remember her. She's a singer in the 80s.
No.
I'm friends with the drummer that went on a world tour with her. Was her band drummer, and he's great. He really loves the Lord. Sends me all this stuff.
Yeah, that's what I say. Like the seed, there's the purebreds, and then the outer court. And the outer court don't really know what's going on. They're sort of wannabes. But the inside loop, the hierarchy, is extremely evil and knows exactly what's going on, and they have to be avoided at all costs. And these people, there's so many people out there that are totally self-absorbed, and they see nothing. It's like everything has to relate to them. or they don't relate?
Well, they've been running it. That was why the Lord was so mad at Esau for marrying Hittite women, because the Hittites back then had controlled the money and the economics, pretty much like the Illuminati does today. They've always been in charge of everything important, the politics, the economy, the money. And Esau married into that Hittite line and created a whole seed line there.
Yeah.
There's just so many different problems with seed lines, and people that can't say that, they just sit and fight with you. And I've got the one on the internet that slams me up and down about the seed lines. It's like, open your eyes.
Well, a lot of people don't want to open their eyes. So.
Yeah, and there's nothing new today. There's nothing new. It's just the same stuff. Been happening every century.
People want to be lied to, like with politicians. They want the politicians to tell them, oh, nothing's wrong, everything's fine, go back to sleep. And they love it.
And meanwhile, they're running around the country because if they're threatened, if they go back to the White House, this is going to happen. The aliens are after them, and it's actually amusing.
Yeah, and people go, aliens, what nonsense. Well, what do you call a human that's been taken over by a spirit?
Yeah.
I mean, is he still a human? What, are you going to deal with that person on a human level?
And how do you deal with these people that have that particular DNA so they can shapeshift? That's why they kept it pure half human, half alien, so they could keep the DNA to shapeshift and host aliens to have as alien possession. I know you've talked about the movie They Live before, and it's going to be so real when it comes to reality.
Oh, there's what's his name now? Bruce Lipton. He's a biologist. He's got some, not related to anything that we talk about, but intentionally, but he gets into the DNA and how the DNA transforms and stuff like that. And by the time you finish listening to him, you don't think shape-shifting's really all that wacko. I mean, you start to learn about the DNA and how, well, like he was going on, the protein strands are connected together to form flesh and stuff, and each end has, a negative and a plus magnetic. So whatever so the chemicals that we take in, like sodium and all this, it affects these magnetisms, because you put two positives together, right? They repel.
Right.
Or you reverse the current and they join. And he says that if you tamper through electromagnetics, if you tamper with the DNA, not DNA, the protein strands, they will literally go poof, and they will change into something totally different. They will just reshape themselves.
Well, I believe that because a lot of these health products that are being promoted today actually tinker with your DNA.
Oh, undoubtedly.
And so that's why, it's one of the things I've been interested in. I've had one eye on it. I haven't really spent a lot of time in it. But a lot of the push for changing the way you eat and taking these particular health products to change your levels of your body and stuff, it all has to do with tweaking your DNA.
Yeah, you're changing the chemistry and the way the DNA reacts.
Yeah, so a lot of these people become a lot more easy to be possessed.
And then David Icke, in his latest book, he's really pushing that love stuff. He says we have to love Bush, and we have to,
I haven't read his latest one.
The puke bag.
I haven't read any of his books.
Well, he really gets into the genetics. It was really interesting. He said what really blew him away was that DNA is a crystal, and as a crystal, DNA can receive and send messages at the same time.
I can't remember how it's based. I know I've said this on my show before, so it's in the transcript somewhere. But we have an amino-based DNA, and they're trying to change it to crystalline. And that's what a lot of this chemtrail stuff is. That's what a lot of these health product pushes are, because they carry the stuff that will make it